Alright, now I want to point to something that it's not recommended to write a bash file and leave it on the desktop. I would rather have it inside a directory called scripts inside the user directory or like the home directory. But in our case, it is more convenient to have the script on the desktop, okay? So let's start right now with the conditionals, with the core foundations of any programming language, including BashScript, like conditionals, you have the loops afterwards, you have other things. We'll start with the if statement. Now, how does if statement work? We're going to at first prompt the user to give us a value. If this value is less than 50, we're gonna tell him you aimed low. If it's 50, you hit the mark. And if it's over 50, you have aimed high. So at first, we simply, in order to prompt the user, I type echo, please enter a value between 0 and 100. Then I type read. Read is to get the input from the user through the keyboard. Value. Now I go into the statement. If, and this is how we write the if statement. I open the braces and then, two braces to evaluate a mathematical value. So dollar value is to get the actual value contained in the variable. Okay, so I will name it, I will rather name it val so that we won't confuse the value as the meaning of what the value is and the variable itself. So if $val is less than 50, semicolon, then echo you aimed low. Now let's start with this. Let's start with this one, okay, before completing the entire statement. So if I run it right now, enter a value. So if I type 40, you see it told me you aimed low. So that's the case for the value being less than 50, but it is not the complete statement yet, because we need to account for when the value is greater than 50 and otherwise when the value is equal to 50. So it's not finished yet. So I want to tell the bash what happens when the value is greater than 50. So I need to type elif. Elif means else if. Okay, elif is the same as else if. Elif, $value or $val is greater than 50, then echo for me, you aimed high. And finally, if it's neither greater than 50 nor less than 50, it means that the user had entered exactly the value 50. In such case, I don't need to write it as if, like else if or elif, $value equal 50. I simply type else. Else meaning otherwise, if the two first conditions are not met, then definitely the third one is the case. So else, echo, you have hit the mark, which is 50, by the way. Let's run the script, enter a value. I will enter 60. So 60, you aimed high. Let's clear the screen, and because 60 is greater than 50. And let's run again, but this time I will give him 50. And you see you've hit the mark. This is like the conditionals or the if statement.